Yeah, good morning. We can start.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Roll number two.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, please read the biodata.
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Shamla Chandrakant Yadav, working as a librarian in PS College of Physical Education, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. On behalf of UGC Malviya Mission Teacher Training Center and Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar organized 16th Faculty Induction Program. I, I will welcome to all participants, guests, and organizers. It's my pleasure to introduce our chief guest, Dr. Aparna Ashtaputre. Dr. Aparna is an professor and head at the Department of Psychology, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar. She started her teaching career from Government College of Arts and Science, Chhatrapati Sambhajinagar, where she was selected towards MPSC in 2006. Then she joined the university in 2010 and still working there. She has accomplished her doctoral study in parenting styles. Her research interests spans themes like personality, emotions, well-being, yoga, meditation, and brainwaves. She has delivered many talks and was expert at many workshops conducted on national and international level. Some some highlights of her profile are published three books related to psychology with national publishers. Written a book for Yashwantrao Chauhan Maharashtra Open
We can
University
start.
Nashik.
If I'm audible, we can start the session.
Okay, ma'am. Written and published nearly 30 research articles
Am I
in
audible?
research journals.
Yes, ma'am.
Audible, ma'am.
Is ma'am is audible to anyone?
Yes, sir.
मैम की आवाज आ रही है?
नहीं नहीं.
Yes, roll number two.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, read our biota. Ma'am, sir.
Oh, sir.
मॅम अनम्यूट करा तुम्ही. येस मॅम.
आवाज येतोय माझा?
हो मॅम येतोय.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Yes,
shall we
madam.
start?
येस मॅम.
Okay. Uh, Actually, my laptop was muted, so I could not hear anyone. So I thought it is not yet started. So we'll start. I have two sessions to interact with you. Those who can switch on their camera, please kindly switch on your cameras. So it feels like I'm talking with someone. Otherwise, it is like I'm talking to myself. So this is one part of the online thing. Okay. So I have made two parts of my session. The first session, I would like to interact with you all on psychology, as I'm a student and a professor of psychology. So we would be talking more about psychology and how to use the psychology in your personal as well as in the professional life. So before going in that section, I'll be using English and Hindi so that everyone will understand. And wherever you feel it is like I need to have more of Hindi, or if I'm having more of Hindi and English, you can just unmute yourself and let me know uh, what any difficulties if you're facing, if you're not able to understand. So first we'll start about psychology. Is there anyone from psychology background? Participants, any participants who are from psychology background? No. Okay, that's good, because otherwise that would be a boring for this session might have been boring for that person, because I would be talking very basic about psychology. Uh, the faculties who have done their B.Ed or M.Ed, they might have a bit understanding of psychology. They have studied the paper of psychology, educational psychology. They might have studied few of the theories, and a few of the psychologists are quite famous, so you might be knowing about it. People from literature might also be knowing about Sigmund Freud and Adler, the psychoanalytical things. So, this is all about psychology. I am supposing that people are knowing, so I would not go in that direction. I'll be adding few new things about psychology. So first of all, we need to understand that psychology is a very young subject, still young subject. It's not more than 100 years that psychology started its own journey. Psychology was basically part of philosophy, and people were very curious about why people are behaving in this way and what happens in the mind and all those things. So it really started from philosophy, and in the previous days of psychology, they were interested in understanding the soul. But then as it started its journey away from philosophy, they started understanding that if you want psychology to stand as a science, there has to be certain parameters. So, from as the journey of psychology, it started from soul. Then it again ended up in mind, because we were not able to understand soul. So, the mind was the concept, and in that section of mind, Sigmund Freud was the very pioneer of what we can say, who started psychoanalytical and who really studied, who talked about mind, who talked about um, structure of mind, and that became very popular. And he is still one of the, if you take in the 1,000 year, who made a remarkable effect on society. So the name of Sigmund Freud comes in that list also. So, when we were talking about mind in psychology, Sigmund Freud gave two structure. Because see, if I want to study behavior, if I want to understand behavior of my mind or of any other person, I really need to understand the base of it. So, Sigmund Freud talked about mind, and he made two structures of mind. One structure, he talks about consciousness, subconsciousness, and unconscious. Now, nowadays also we use this concept as subconscious, the power of subconscious mind, and all those things. So it all started with Sigmund Freud. But as the date passed, as we have progressed, there are certain minor changes in the definition, or some definition have changed a lot. So when we talk about Sigmund Freud, he says that there are three compartments. He talks about mind in two different ways. The first, he talks about conscious, subconscious, and unconscious. And the second structure he gives about mind is the ego, sorry, the ego and superego. Now, these three, we will understand these two concepts about the structure of mind. When we talk about consciousness, as per Sigmund Freud, he says that as we are aware, whatever is comes in our awareness is our consciousness. Okay, so like we are sitting in the session, online session is going on. You might be conducting this session or attending this session from your college or from your home, or you might be just listening to me and doing some other your work. So this is what you are aware of, and that what is consciousness as per Sigmund Freud. Then comes the subconscious. Now, subconscious is something, if I am asked to remember, if I'm asked to make certain efforts and I can remember those things, those are from the subconscious mind. So what happened last year in January, or when we were small? Uh, what were the colors we liked? If we go on asking such question, and if I'm able to answer those, it takes an efforts, and those efforts are, we bring all those memories from our subconscious. Now, the biggest part of our mind is the unconscious. And Sigmund Freud says that we cannot consciously go into our unconscious mind. Once the things are in the unconscious mind, those are very tough to bring them back, recall them. All those things are very, very tough. Most of our memories, which are in our unconscious, cannot be retrieved as such. When generally it comes in your dreams, as per Sigmund Freud, or there are certain therapy sessions through which you are taken to the subconscious and then slowly to the unconscious mind, and all the things which are there in your unconscious are like digged. So dreams, he says, dreams are the uh, Rajmarg hai, to understand the unconscious mind. And he says that all your difficult memories, the things that are hurted you, the things that have disturbed you, or the things that have made you sad, all those memories are in your unconscious mind. So, if we ask why a person behaves in this way, there might be some unconscious memories which are leading him or her to behave in a particular way. Then it's again, he says that many a times we have this slip of tongue. Like, I don't want to say this, but it just came. So as we say, it just came. According to Sigmund Freud, he says that it might be from your unconscious, and for a fraction of second, the door of that unconsciousness is opened, and so it comes out, and then we say those things, and then we say, no, no, I don't want it to say in this way, or this is not what I meant. But it comes from the unconscious as per Sigmund Freud. This is one structure of mind. Another structure of mind he talks about is, as I said, id, ego, and superego. Now, these three concepts are very interesting. Id, as he says, is the powerhouse. All our instincts are in this id. All our psyche energy is in this instinct, is in this id. So we can say it is a powerhouse of our personality. And there are, as per Sigmund Freud, there are two instincts. The first instinct is life instinct, and the another one is the death instinct. So we have these two instincts in all of us. So whenever a thought comes that the life is not going smooth or not according to me, or I don't want to live this life, that time for maybe a milliseconds or a microseconds, the death instincts become dominant. Otherwise, the life instinct is generally dominant. Very rarely the this death instincts becomes dominant. So as these instincts are there, then he says there are again two very important basic um, drives that drive us, and those two drives are aggression and sexuality. So these are two very important energies that drive us. So one is the aggressiveness or anger, and another one is sexuality or sex. Now, when Sigmund Freud talks about sex and sexuality, it is more related to pleasure. So we have to understand the meaning the words have. So here, when he talks about sexuality or sex, he is making a point that it is a pleasure principle. So it is a pleasure. So our drive for anything is based on these two things. That is our pleasure, and that is the anger that we have. These are the two things that have again the power, that have again the energy on which we work as per Sigmund Freud. Now, this id is something it always want pleasure, as it is the drive is the same, pleasure drive is there. So it is not understanding anything that this is a society, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. The id always says that I want this means I want this. And you see this in the children, especially. By the age, till the age of 2.5 years, children don't have ego in them. That is what the second stage of structure of the mind is. They work basically on the id principle. That is the pleasure. I want this means I want this. Right now, we all are grown up, so we have developed egos and superegos. Now, the second stage of, or the second part of the structure of mind comes the ego. Now, this ego is very different from the ego that we talk about. That the person is having an ego, usko to बहुत ज़्यादा ego है. So that बहुत ज़्यादा ego is not what Sigmund Freud talks about. बहुत ज्यादा ईगो इन अवर लोकल लैंग्वेज व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट ईगो इट इज मोर ऑफ अहंकार, right? More of an I am great or this is something me concept is more there. Sigmund Freud says that ego is something where it works on pleasure principle and it works on pleasure principle. Ego works on reality principle. Now, ego here is more of a reality check. So whatever the it says, the ego has to balance it. Is it possible now? Can I do this? Is it right? It is in reality. Can I do this? So all these possibilities. अगर मैं ये कर सकता हूँ, नहीं कर सकता हूँ, वास्तव में ये कर सकते हैं या नहीं कर सकते हैं, ये सारी जो चीजें हैं, that is part of an ego. So ego becomes a gate. Gate, what sort of gate? It will always give you the instinct कि मुझे ये चाहिए वो चाहिए. Id is always demanding. ईड में से हमेशा कुछ ना कुछ इच्छाएं अपेक्षाएं आती रहेगी और अभी के अभी चाहिए, क्योंकि ईड जो है वो प्लेजर पे काम करता है, तो उसे प्लेजर चाहिए चाहिए. नाउ द ईगो इज समवन व्हिच सेज दैट ये अभी हो सकता है, नहीं हो सकता है. सो द वर्क ऑफ ईगो इज टू बैलेंस. इट इज कॉल्ड एज अ गेट. इट इज अ रियलिटी गेट, अ चेक पॉइंट where all your instincts, all your drives are checked, and if those are possible, then only they come on the conscious and subconscious level. Okay. और फिर जो तीसरा है, that is super ego. Now this super ego is very important again, because the super ego tells you about good and bad, moral and immoral. So these are certain things that are taught by the superego. Whatever our parents teach us are included in this superego. जो हमारा समाज हमसे बोलता है, हमारे पेरेंट्स हमसे बोलते हैं, हमारे कुटुंब में, हमारे कल्चर में जो अलाउड है, जो अलाउड नहीं है, जो अच्छा है, जो बुरा है ना, पुण्य पाप, ये जो सारी संकल्पनाएं हैं, all are in our superego. So when we work certain thing, that maybe the ego says that in reality you can do this. हम चप्पल पहन के घर में आ सकते हैं, द रियलिटी आ सकते हैं. अभी ठंडी है तो मैं शूज नहीं उतारूंगी, वैसे ही मैं घर में आऊंगी. रियलिटी ऐसे हम आ सकते हैं, बट माई सुपर ईगो विल से कि नहीं, इट इज नॉट अलाउड.
So,
In our culture, you
this
you
is
have to keep your shoes, your chappal outside the house. You cannot wear and come inside. So I will tell that no, no, this is not allowed. Now, this allowed and not allowed comes from our super ego. ये हमारे सुपर ईगो में से आता है. ये सारा सिगमंड फ्रॉइड ने बताया, और उसने कहा कि ये इनका, अगर ठीक से मेरा ईगो काम नहीं करता है, ठीक से मेरा सुपर ईगो काम नहीं करता है, जो मेरे ईड को नहीं समझा पाता है, अगर कि नहीं ये अलाउड नहीं है, इट इज नॉट अलाउड, देन देयर कम्स अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट, एंड दिस कॉन्फ्लिक्ट becomes the pressure to the super ego. इसकी वजह से क्या होता है, प्रेशर में आ जाता है हमारा ईगो, एंड देन ईगो यूजेस डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म्स. वो खुद को सुरक्षित करने के लिए कुछ मैकेनिज्म्स यूज करता है, एंड वी ऑल डू दैट. To a certain level, these mechanisms are good because they protect our ego. Like you rationalize, you project, rationalize कि भाई नहीं, आज तो मुझे ट्रैफिक ही लग गया इसीलिए लेट हो गया. So we rationalize our behavior because our ego is having stress. पर ये होते समय सिगमंड फ्रॉइड और एक बात बताता है कि हम लोग है ना, डेवलपमेंटल स्टेजेस में से जाते हैं. So he talks about 5
hello.
developmental stages, and the important part
हाँ
in
बोलो.
this developmental stage that we need to understand is about the
कोणते
pleasure.
कोणते
हमें हर स्टेज में अलग
ये पढ़ून घ्यायचं.
एरिया में से हमको प्लेजर मिलता है. So we need to really
डेट काय दिली
understand.
त्यांना? आज दिली ना? काल होती.
गौरव, तुमचा बहुतेक माइक ऑन आहे. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we work from a different, like one by one, we go with the stages of development. And what happens in this development stage, if we are fixed at one particular point, it affects our personality, the complete personality as we grow up. As in Indian culture, हम लोग भी बोलते हैं कि बच्चा जो है 8 साल तक उस पे क्या संस्कार होते हैं, उसके हिसाब से उसकी पर्सनालिटी बनेगी जब वो बड़ा होता है. In the same way, Sigmund Freud also says that whatever experience you get in your childhood will largely predict your behavior or largely will define your will just give me just so largely it will define your personality. So this is very, very important from Sigmund Freud's perspective, that in what stage, what pleasures you are having, and do you get high of that pleasure or very low of your that pleasure? Okay, are you deprived of that pleasure or there is over gratification of the pleasure? That is very important. हर एक स्टेज में 5 स्टेजेस बताए और हर एक स्टेज में अलग अलग प्लेजर्स हैं। अगर वो प्लेजर बहुत ज्यादा मिलते हैं तब भी दिक्कत है, अगर वो प्लेजर नहीं मिलते हैं तब भी दिक्कत है, क्योंकि देन इट विल डिफाइन योर पर्सनालिटी एज यू ग्रो ओल्डर। फॉर एग्जाम्पल, those who have the habit of cigarette smoking or chewing tobacco और eating disorders, बहुत ज्यादा खाते हैं या बहुत कम खाते हैं, अगर ऐसी दिक्कत है तो these are the people who are either having over gratification or under gratification at the oral stage। पहला पहले जो 1.5 साल तक का बच्चे का कालखंड है, उस समय उसको बहुत ज्यादा प्लेजर मिला है या बहुत कम या फिर मिला नहीं है, इसका इसके कारण now he wants all the pleasure from the oral area। So that is the first stage of development where Sigmund Freud says that the child gets pleasure from the oral area because he is sucking milk. Then later on, as he grows by till the 1 year, he starts eating. So that defines the base of his needs. Needs are completed, है ना? तो इसकी वजह से उसका सारा जो pleasure है वो मुंह के एरिया में से आता है। So it is मुख अवस्था भी बोलते हैं उसको। तो that really is very important। और अगर यहाँ पे ओवर प्लेजर हो गया, बहुत ज्यादा हो गया, then also you will see that people are having eating disorders, smoking disorders। तो ये काफी रिसर्चेस हुए कि इनमें कोरिलेशन दिखाई दिया गया है। सो एज वी सी इन किड्स, आजकल पहले पहले जमाने में नहीं थे, अभी तो वो निपल दे देते हैं मुंह में, दैट इज सकर टीतर, है ना? तो कंटिन्यूस मुंह में रहता है बच्चे का, दैट इज ओवर ग्रेटिफिकेशन। अगर ये ओवर ग्रेटिफिकेशन हो जाता है तो देन यू विल सी दैट the kids are having eating problems। So personality is defined in early 8 years and 10 years of your life। Then the second stage he talks about is the anal stage। Now this is also very, very important। Now in this particular stage, the child learns the discipline। Anal stage is where bacha or the excretion, he learns to control the excretion। Now the child understand that I cannot pee or have a potty anytime or anywhere, so he learns that discipline। Now how a child is disciplined or how the toilet training takes place again is very important। If the toilet training is too harsh, the child will have anxiety। If the toilet training is not done properly or if it is not disciplined in a particular way, then the child will be very lethargic, uh, uh, will not have any courage to do things। So that discipline has to be in a proper way। So toilet training becomes a very important aspect। Then comes the third stage, where which is again very important, where physical changes are not happening much, but the child understands the difference between a girl and a boy। So it is about like after 4 and 5 years, the child understands, yeah, I'm a girl or I'm a boy, and girls and boys are different। So this gender and the sexual differences they start understanding। If this is done very good, and here they have this Oedipus complex and Oedipus complex and Electra complex also, where the child is having attraction towards the opposite sex parent, and we generally see that the boy listens to mother and the girl listens to her father। So this is what we see in general। There might be some differences, but in general, we see this। So Sigmund Freud talks about it, and by the end, he talks about uh, the secondary sexual development also, where the child becomes an adolescent from puberty to adolescence, and he becomes sexually active। So the whole process of development really is very important। So if I want to understand a person's behavior or my own behavior, why I'm behaving in a particular way, if I eat more or if I eat less, or if I chew things, or if I like to chew things, that means either I am over gratified or under gratified at the early stage. Now, we cannot go back and change those things, but at least we will get aware of it and try to work on this. So, this was the transition of understanding behavior or a mind, and try to reason why a person behave in a particular way. And then later, Adler, Jung, these also added few things. They accepted few things. They rejected few things from Sigmund Freud, but they all belong to psychoanalytical family. Then a psychoanalytical group of the school of psychoanalyticals, what we call. Then later on, you'll see that Jung talks about collective unconscious also. This is also a very important concept. Many times people ask or people feel that कि कहीं हम लोग पहली बार जाते हैं, कहीं जगह पे पहली बार जाते हैं और हमको लगता है कि अरे हम यहाँ आके गए हैं पहली बार, but actually we are going for the first time there. So the reasoning for this, what Jung says, is the collective unconsciousness. We have that collective unconscious, and as a human being, we have certain collectivity in us. Connections are there. We might be from different countries, but we are connected as a human being. So this is what psychology journey started. But then later on, people said that, okay, mind you are talking about, we cannot study. Can I show you where the mind is? And they say that no, we cannot show you. So as the science approach was increasing day by day, and they say that in science, the subject matter should be observable, testable, measurable. uh, those can be, certain experiments should have been done on it. तो ये सारी चीजें माइंड के बारे में नहीं वर्कआउट हो रही थी। ना हम माइंड देख सकते थे, सो ऑब्जर्वेबल नहीं हो रहा था। माइंड पे हम लोग मेजर भी नहीं कर सके कितना माइंड है, कितना ईगो है, कितना सुपर है, नहीं, हम लोग मेजर भी नहीं कर पा रहे थे। सो फ्रॉम साइकोलॉजिकल दे शिफ्टेड टू बिहेवियरिज्म. नाउ दिस बिहेवियरिज्म, दे टॉक मोर अबाउट द बिहेवियर दैट इज ऑब्जर्वेबल. हम लोग उसी की पढ़ाई करने लगे जो हमको दिखाई देता है. अगर मैं बोल रही हूँ कि मैं मन में कुछ सोच रही हूँ, तो what is the external behavior that I am having? सो दिस इज रियली वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और हम लोग जो बिहेव करते हैं, अगर हम थोड़ा भी सिगमंड फ्रॉइड को साइड में रखेंगे, तो हम लोग बिहेवियरल एंगल से भी हम लोग समझ पाते हैं कि वाई अ पर्सन बिहेव इन अ पर्टिकुलर वे. This is very important to understand students. This is very important to understand our own kids and our own behavior also. तो ये बिहेवियरल वालों का कहना था कि भाई कुछ कुछ सिचुएशंस होते हैं, कुछ स्टिमुलस होता है, और उसको हम लोग रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं या फिर रिएक्ट करते हैं. और जो रिएक्ट करते हैं, जो रिस्पॉन्ड करते हैं, वो बिहेवियर है. तो देर हैज टू बी सर्टन स्टिमुलस एंड देर हैज टू बी सर्टन रिस्पॉन्स टू इट. सो व्हेन वी टॉक अबाउट बिहेवियरिज्म or the theories from behavior, learning theories, what they are called. Those who have done B.Ed, M.Ed, they might be knowing these theories. So sorry, I'm repeating it again. But without touching this behaviorism, we cannot go further in psychology. So behavioral, we have two very prominent names, that is Ivan Pavlov and Skinner, B.F. Skinner. These are two very important, prominent theorists in this behaviorism. So Watson, he really started experimenting and all those things. Then later on it was taken by these people. So Pavlov did one very popular experiment on dog, where he was studying something, how the digestive system and saliva works in the dog, but accidentally he found that whenever he used to come, before seeing the food, the dog started salivation. And that was really surprising and amazing for Pavlov. And then he really started working. And he talks about that conditionings are there. So we have certain stimulus and we give response to it. But if there are certain conditions where every time the stimulus is presented, the condition is like this. So whenever if the stimulus is not present also and the condition is there, we respond in the same way. So like for example, कि अगर मैंने किसी को डांटा ही नहीं है, पर मुझे पता है लेट हो गया है, और मैंने जस्ट घड़ी, मुझे कुछ करना ही नहीं था, बस मैंने घड़ी का देखना और आपने मुझे देखना एक ही वक्त हो गया. सो आई स्टार्ट एक्सप्लेनिंग कि मुझे लेट क्यों हुआ है. पर मैंने एक्चुअली पूछा ही नहीं था कि लेट क्यों हुआ है, पर हम लोग बताना शुरू कर देते, बिकॉज वी आर कंडीशनड कि घड़ी को देख रहा है और मुझे देख रहा है, इसका मतलब ही इज आस्किंग मी द टाइम. सो देर आर सो मेनी कंडीशनड लर्निंग दैट वी हैव, है ना. हमारी जो भी श्रद्धाएं और अंधश्रद्धाएं हैं, वो सारी की सारी दिस इज बेस्ड ऑन दिस कंडीशनिंग, कि अगर ये कंडीशन है तो ऐसा करना है. तो वी आर कंडीशन सो मच, है ना. वी डू द थिंग्स विदाउट स्टिम्युलस. स्टिमुलस ना भी हो तो भी हम लोग वो कर देते हैं. सो दिस इज कंडीशनिंग. हम लोग एसोसिएशंस फॉर्म कर देते हैं कि ये दोनों चीज साथ में आती है. सपोज दिस इज ए एंड दिस इज बी, ए और बी साथ में आते हैं, पर एक्चुअली मुझे रिस्पॉन्स ए को ही देना है, पर ये इतने साथ साथ आते हैं कि बी भी आता है तो मैं रिस्पॉन्स दे देती हूँ. दैट इज व्हाट इज कंडीशनिंग. सो वी मेनी टाइम्स लर्न थ्रू कंडीशनिंग. Then we have again very important theory called as instrumental learning. So here it's very important that what after giving a response, what is followed after that will define you will give the response again or not. अगर मैं बात करती हूँ और आप सुन लेते हो, तो अगली बार मैं बात करने का जो परसेंटेज है वो ज्यादा होगा. पर मैं अगर बात कर रही हूँ और आप कोई सुन नहीं रहे हैं, तो नेक्स्ट टाइम मेरे बात करने का जो परसेंटेज है वो कम हो जाएगा, शक्यता जो है वो कम हो जाएगी. द सो सो व्हाट आर द रिजल्ट ऑफ योर रिस्पॉन्स. So it is like what is the effect. So if the effects are positive and if they are helping you, then definitely you will behave again and again. So हम लोग बोलते हैं कि बच्चे को इतना डांटा फिर भी वो जो करना है वही कर रहा है, तो इसका मतलब ये हो रहा है कि आपके डांटने से ज्यादा वो उस करने के बाद उसको जो मजा आ रहा है वो ज्यादा है. So, whatever you are giving has a less value than whatever the child is getting after doing that behavior. So, you have to learn that what to do. And many by this, psychologists don't say that don't give punishment, but unfortunately, punishment don't tell the child what to do. We just tell the child what not to do by punishing the child. हम लोग सिर्फ डांट के ये बताते कि ये करना नहीं है, पर उसके जगह क्या करना है हम लोग नहीं बताते. सो मेनी टाइम्स द पनिशमेंट्स आर नॉट दैट इफेक्टिव. उतना इफेक्ट नहीं होता है. सो व्हाट वी जनरली से दैट कि बच्चा जो भी अच्छा कर रहा है उसको अच्छा बोलिए, जो नहीं अच्छा कर रहा है, क्योंकि हम लोग उसको अच्छा बोलेंगे तो वो वही चीज जो है वो दोहराएगा. द चाइल्ड विल हैव मोर एंड मोर द सेम बिहेवियर विच इज बिन reinforced, which has been rewarded. तो अगर अच्छा जहां जहां अच्छा बोल सकते हैं वहां अच्छा बोलिए. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि हमेशा अच्छा ही बोलिए, डांटिए मत, ऐसा नहीं है. ओनली थिंग इज दैट when you give the punishment, let the child understand why I am getting punished, for what I am getting punished for. So I have to understand the punishment, why I am getting it, and it has to be uh, in accordance with the age. हम लोग देखते हैं काउंसलिंग सेंटर में कि बच्चा फर्स्ट में होता है और उसको इतनी मार पड़ती है कि वो ठीक से हैंडराइटिंग नहीं निकल रहा है. मारने का और हैंडराइटिंग का कोई कनेक्शन नहीं है. तो चाइल्ड डोंट अंडरस्टैंड कि मैं लिख तो रहा हूं पर अच्छा नहीं आ रहा है. Then what to do? Whenever the child writes a good handwriting, just say good. So he'll understand, okay, I have to write it like this. पनिशमेंट क्या बोलेगा कि ऐसा मत लिखो. ओके, ऐसा मत लिखो मतलब कैसा लिखो, अच्छा लिखो. सी वी जनरली गिव द फीडबैक इन अ क्वालिटेटिव वे. वी डोंट गिव फीडबैक इन अ क्वांटिटेटिव इन अ स्पेसिफिक फॉर्म. सो इफ यू आर एबल टू गिव इन अ स्पेसिफिक and quantitative feedback, then yes, you will see the difference in the behavior. So from instrumental learning, what we have learned that the responses will get stronger if they have the डिजायरेबल आउटकम्स. डिजायरेबल थिंग्स अगर उसके बाद आती है तो वो बढ़ेगा, अनडिजायरेबल आएगी तो कम होगा. सो यूज दिस टेक्निक व्हेन यू आर ट्रेनिंग द किड्स और द स्टूडेंट्स विथ whom यू आर इंटरैक्टिंग, कि जो अच्छा है उसको अच्छा बोलिए, जो अच्छा नहीं है उसको बस अच्छा नहीं है और इसकी जगह ये अच्छा. आई वुड प्रेफर इफ यू गिव मी इन अ रिटन. तो दिस कैन बी रियली वेरी हेल्पफुल. तो इस हिसाब से हम लोग साइकोलॉजी आगे जाते हैं. तो बिहेवियर और आगे क्या हो गया कि साइंस, एज द साइंस प्रोग्रेस फ्रॉम बिहेवियर, नाउ वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट हैपेंस इन अवर ब्रेन आल्सो. So because of all the technologies that are developing, now we are able to understand that हमारे ब्रेन में क्या हो रहा है. सो Now from psychology, from the behaviorism, they again added a cognitive aspect to it. Now this cognitive aspect is very very important. Cognitive aspect में क्या आएगा कि हम लोग ब्रेन में क्या हो रहा है, सो बेसिकली हायर मेंटल प्रोसेसेस आर देयर इन दी कॉग्निटिव साइंस. तो हायर मेंटल प्रोसेसेस क्या आते हैं? लैंग्वेज, योर थिंकिंग, योर मेमोरी, योर प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग. So all these are parts of our cognition. So now psychology started studying this also. Now the very interesting thing is, uh, we generally think in language. हाँ, हम लोग सिंबॉलिक बहुत, मतलब पिक्टोरियल फॉर्म में हम लोग बहुत कम सोचते हैं. हम जो मेमोरी भी स्टोर करते हैं वो भी वर्बली ज्यादा स्टोर करते हैं, पिक्टोरियल मेमोरी हमारी कम स्टोर होती है. सो लैंग्वेज प्लेज अ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट रोल व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट कॉग्निशन. और हम लोग आज देख रहे हैं कि लैंग्वेज हैज बिकम सो लो इन द स्टूडेंट. लाइक they don't have words, they don't have expressions, they express all the things in the same, with the same word, good. So this becomes very tough, because अगर उनके पास vocabulary ही नहीं होगी तो वो सोचेंगे किस, कौन से वही वर्ड्स पे से सोचेंगे. सो इट्स वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और ये अभी समझ में आ गया है. पहले सभी लोग बहुत ज्यादा साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी करते थे. नाउ दे हैव अंडरस्टूड दैट just saying science technology will not help innovation and creativity. For innovation and creativity we need thinking. With science and technology aptitude we need thinking, and for thinking we need good language. So a person who is a good scientist has to have a good language ability also, or either he or she has to learn good language or should have a high vocabulary. अगर नहीं है vocabulary तो वो बहुत अच्छा काम करके भी won't be, or he or she won't be able to present it in a proper way, in a great way. So language plays an important role. I would like to share one experience that I'm having right now with our students. And you can also share if you have similar or any other way, another experience. We have students from, as in our department, we have a BA honors also. This year we started BA honors. That is an AEDP course, that is apprenticeship embedded course. So we have one, as NEP says, that we have an open elective. So we have open elective, and students from computer science, management, they do take our subject, and our student take their subject. So one of our two students from the other department, they wrote a paper on personality development. And what was the language? The language was Marathi, but the script was English. So this was very horrible for us to understand. Now, as we talked and interacted, that this is a WhatsApp language. कि मराठी में जो भी लिखा हुआ है वो मराठी है, but the script they are using is English. Like me, M-E, me, they have written. Tula, what we say in Marathi, Tula. So Tula. So this is something. And then we really understood that we nowadays face a problem that we tell students, but they don't process it properly. हम लोग उनको इतनी सारी बातें बताते, पर उनके, हम लोग जो बोलते हैं ना, लेमन्स लैंग्वेज, उनके दिमाग में नहीं जाता. दिमाग में क्यों नहीं जा रहा है? बिकॉज दे आर नॉट एबल टू प्रोसेस इट. क्यों प्रोसेस नहीं कर पा रहे? बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव वोकैबुलरी. They don't understand the meaning of the word. The meaning of words have changed now. In my generation, saying I love you was a big, big, big deal. But today, the kid says the love is very simple. It don't have that meaning that we used to have the meaning. हमारे जमाने में जो love के लिए meaning था, वो अभी नहीं है. Liking, loving is like similar. So I love dress, I love people. The love is very, very diluted form it is. So the words now have changed their meaning. The words are same, but in today's scenario or in today's generation, we see they have different meaning to it. So as they are having less vocabulary, the thinking process is becoming difficult. And as it is becoming difficult, the cognitive processes are delayed. Psychology says that every generation is born with 10% more intelligence. So whatever intelligence I have, my child will have more than my intelligence, 10% more than my intelligence. But because of this language ability has been low, they won't be able to think or process the things as I could do in their age. Because maybe the intelligence is less, but the vocabulary was high as compared to today's kids. So, psychology talked about it. Now, these are the recent researches that we are talking, that problem solving. आपने देखा होगा कि बच्चों को अगर कुछ problem आता है तो they go to the AI. They don't, very simple problems also they are reluctant to solve those. So it is becoming a tough challenging things. And as cognitive became the part of psychology, we are studying more of it, like why a person behaves in a way. Now we are able to understand the biological things that are happening in the brain, the structural changes, the neurological, the neurotransmitter, the chemical, all those things. Now we are able to understand it, see it, and see why a person is behaving in this particular way. So we have seen that psychology has done its journey from soul to mind to behavior and then to the cognition. So this is all transition, but as we have this transition, but still few questions, few doubts are still been answered by Sigmund Freud's theory or by behavior theory or by cognitive theory. And there are certain social theories also which comes in this humanistic approach. So there are different approaches, but what I felt these are the dominant one that we need to understand when we are dealing, as we all are faculty or as we all are teachers, and we are consistently and constantly dealing with students. तो बच्चा ऐसा क्यों behave कर रहा है? Why the students are not coming to the department or the to the classes, where in some classes there are, in courses they are full of all student, and there are few classes where it is not there. So we need to understand from different perspective uh, the behavior, the way of thinking today's students are going through. So once we understand that, then we can really work accordingly. This was the brief I wanted to talk about psychology, and now the forum is open for discussion. So any issues that you face with the students, or behavioral issues with the maybe colleagues or in your life, or you have any doubts, questions, the forum is open. आप question पूछ सकते हैं, हम लोग we will have a discussion on it. Yeah, open to all. I hope this is an interactive session. Like, I am just talking and you are listening. No, it can't be like that, right? कुछ भी सवाल हो, behavior related हो, uh, that would be really appreciating. No questions, no discussion.
पार्टिसिपेंट आप आपके माइक अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं, आपको मैम को क्या पूछना है पूछ सकते हैं, क्योंकि ऐसे हो रहा है कि आप कुछ बोल रहे नहीं तो मैम का थोड़ा अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है कि आप मैक्सिमम ऑलरेडी 534 पार्टिसिपेंट एक्टिव। हाँ प्लीज।
No
हाँ,
questions, ma'am,
कुछ
till now.
डिस्कशन होने चाहिए ना, मतलब साइकोलॉजी है तो आई फेल्ट कि बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस, अगर टीचर्स में ही जिज्ञासा नहीं है तो बच्चों में कहाँ से आएगी फिर? दैट इज द we all are faculty members, so I know it's difficult for us to listen for such a long time. Anything related to psychology you want to ask, please go ahead. You can unmute yourself and ask the questions.
Ma'am, if I may.
Yeah, please.
Thank you for the session. And now this topic was very new to me. I have heard something like this for the first time. So it's more of knowledge rather than having any questions. And maybe I'll have to read up a little more because the 2 hour session has given me a brief idea. Once I maybe dwell slightly more into it, I may have a few questions, but it was very knowledgeable, because I am from the field of finance. So such subjects don't come across to us very often. So thank you for enlightening us on this. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, anyone else? I know psychology, but in general, I was expecting that as a teachers, we come across to many of the students who have a different way of behaving. So, related to that, like maybe. So, with
Good
the
morning,
help
ma'am.
of this, we can have understanding why they are behaving. Yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, this is the roll number 65. Ma'am, I just wanted to ask, when we take the exam of the students, especially this Gen Z students, they don't write anything in the paper. Even after making them practice to write down, give them the test, mock test लेने के बाद we still we see that the answer sheets are more or less blank. They don't write anything as such in the paper. So what we can do to improve the results of this kind of a students?
Yeah, yeah, the same thing that I said, that their vocabulary is so very low, they are not able to, they are unable to express the things. So maybe you can have a competition, or maybe some activity, internal activity we can have, where we can give them one word and let them write as many sentences as they can from one word. So this will increase their divergent thinking. There are types of thinking, and from that one thinking time is divergent thinking, and this divergent thinking is very important for creativity also. So you can use, like for example, verbally, as they are not very good in verbal. So you can give one word and ask them to write as many sentences using that particular word, that we used to have in our grammar. When we were kids in school, we used to have कि एक word दिया जाता था, उसके वाक्य में उपयोग करें, है ना? या फिर proverbs दिए जाते थे, उसको हम लोग sentences में use करते. So rather going with the proverbs, what we can use is we can give words and ask them to write, and then ask each student to read out. भी हो क्या रहा है कि बच्चों के पास वोकैबुलरी कम है, और वोकैबुलरी बढ़ाने के लिए भी उनके पास कोई टूल्स नहीं है. क्योंकि मैं एक वर्ड गूगल पे लिखती हूँ तो गूगल पूरा मुझे बोल देता है कि ये चाहिए. सो आई डोंट हैव टू राइट द कंप्लीट सेंटेंस ऑल्सो, right? Or with the AIs also. So they don't have the word, they don't have the vocabulary. So these are certain ways through which we can increase their vocabulary. We can make one maybe a ritual in the class, if it is possible, that every day one word would be given, and the next day all students have to write five sentences and read different sentences. तो स्टार्टिंग में ऐसा होगा कि बहुत ज्यादा कॉमन आ जाएंगे, but later students will have, and then you can say that the student who write five sentences which are different, and nobody comes with the same sentences, will get a prize or something. So this is again a reinforcement. So if they are being reinforced in the class, being said good in the class, made them stand up and everyone clap for them, so this can be helpful to increase their vocabulary. So this can be
So, ma'am,
used.
very
And
nice
yeah,
suggestion, ma'am.
yes.
Yeah,
And the
we will
teachers who are
definitely try
of
this
language,
activity in our
yeah,
class.
yeah. Teacher who are of language, they can have the maximum utilization. But teachers from not from language background also can use this. Very simple
Correct,
words you
ma'am.
can
Ma'am, I'm
give.
from science background. I am from science background, and this problem is especially faced in the science students,
Yes.
because science students are
Mm.
they are having a very big vocabulary as compared to the
Mm.
language other students who are from political science or maybe psychology
Very.
or English
Mhm.
languages.
Yeah. So
Correct.
it's
But
very
my
important.
suggestion, ma'am, I'll definitely try this with our
Yeah.
students.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Because if
ma'am.
they have good vocabulary, then only they will be able to write good research papers.
Correct.
Yes. Yeah. Otherwise, it will be
Thank you,
right.
ma'am.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you for asking. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Thank you is there, but I'm hoping for more more fun discussion. The second session, I really was looking forward. This first part of the session, I was interested in about the professional, about teachers and all. And the second, I was more interested about as a person, what we are. We can go up, we can talk about having stresses and dealing with the stresses that we are having, all the changes that are happening. We have to cope up with all those things. And many of our faculty are like, they don't feel like coping up, they feel stressed while coping. So what strategies can be used on the professional level and on the personal level also? The relationship uh, chemistry is changing a lot, so we don't have any models as such to look forward for our own relationship. So this is what I have planned, but if you want some other topic, please let me know, so then we can take a 10 minutes break and then start. Anything else that you want? Okay, fine. So now we will move to our personal issues. Um, One, as being we listen to mobile, we listen to Instagram, and there are so many things that are coming up, and reels are there, which gives us so many uh, lines that we really need to understand. And the one line which I always feel very important, कि जहां मैं ऐसा कौन है जिसको गम मिला नहीं. So ऐसा कोई है नहीं जिसको गम मिला नहीं है, पर कुछ लोग गम के साथ, दुख के साथ, स्ट्रेस के साथ आगे बढ़ जाते हैं, और कुछ लोग वहीं रुक जाते हैं, वहीं अटक जाते हैं. So why this happens, and अगर हम लोग अटक गए हैं, तो what we really need to do while surfing the life scale, the life that we are in. So अगर if this is a journey of life, the first and foremost thing that comes in mind, it is a bit philosophical, but I think everyone now is going through that. Why we are in this world? That is very philosophical question. And some or the other time, सबको ये सवाल मन में आया होगा कि हम लोग क्यों हैं? अगर मैं हूं यहाँ पे तो क्यों है? और फिलोसॉफी गिव्स द आंसर कि हमारे कुछ कर्म बाकी है, तो इसीलिए हम लोग हैं. But the other day I was listening to J. Krishnamurti, a big philosopher. I was reading few of the books, and I came across that searching and getting knowing to yourself is what is expected. That should be the purpose of life. Now, with the as in NAP we have this IKS, na, Indian Knowledge System. We do have Indian psychology. So when we talk about, when we are reading and teaching Indian psychology, it says that like searching our own self, खुद को जानना can be the purpose of our life. And the more you understand yourself, the more life becomes easy, the life becomes more of a calm. I'll not saying successful, but I'll say peaceful. The more you understand yourself, the more peaceful we all become. And knowing oneself is the toughest job. खुद को जानना सबसे मुश्किल काम है, क्योंकि जब हम लोग खुद को जानना शुरू करते हैं ना, तो बहुत सारी ऐसी चीजें होती है जो हमें पसंद नहीं होती है, वो भी हमें देखनी होती है, हमें दिख जाती है. And then how you face it, how you confront it, becomes a challenge. And to understand about the stress, we need to really peep inside. It is said that 90% of our problems are because we are trying to fix others. दूसरों को ठीक करने की वजह से हम में स्ट्रेस बहुत ज्यादा आ जाता है. Now this word stress is been overrated many a times, but it is there. Nowadays, you see the thinking, the overthinking is increased, the anxieties have increased. People are facing frustrations and depression. The other day I was reading a research article which says that in India, one person in all 10, in 10, one person is having mental disorder. This number is very high. 10 में से एक इंसान को भारत में मेंटल डिसऑर्डर्स है. डिप्रेशन ऐसा नहीं है, डिसऑर्डर है. So very high, and because of that, I think Supreme Court has and UGC has said that there has to be psychologist, and the task force have been designed, and it is being mandatory for all the institute who has more than 100 students studying in the institute should have this task force, which has a psychologist, a clinical psychologist, psychiatrist as a group, because the reason is the same as the mental disturbance has increased a lot. बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ गया है. अभी ये बढ़ा क्यों है? इसके बहुत सारे reasons है. There are many reasons of it, but the prominent reasons that we see is the changing lifestyle. That is the one thing. The speed of change that we are having, we are going through. Then the third very important thing for this what the mental stresses are the relationship issues that we are facing. Nowadays we are having more of an insecurities than the securities. बहुत ज्यादा insecurities हम में आ गई है, और इसकी वजह से we are facing so much of mental difficulties, what we can see. So if you talk about the generation which is now age of 35 to like 50s, this is a generation which is going through a changes जो हम लोग वो ने कभी यूज ही नहीं किया, जैसे इंटरनेट है, एआई है. Now the students and now our kids are using it, so we need to get adjusted to it. Changes, we all know the proverb that the change is the only constant thing, पर वो चेंज भी धीरे धीरे होता था. अब हम लोग जो चेंज फेस कर रहे हैं, इट इज वेरी फास्ट, वेरी क्विक. आज जो मैं चेंज करके समझ पा रही हूँ, उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने तक तो वो चेंज हो गया होता है, उसका एडवांस वर्जन आ जाता है. सो कोपिंग अप विद द चेंज गिव्स मी मे बी वन वन परसेंट ऑफ स्ट्रेस दैट आई हैव. पर ये चेंज में से मेरा जो रिलेशन खुद के साथ है, मेरा रिलेशन दूसरों के साथ है, that is being hampered, or we can say that is being affected. अभी ये जो अफेक्ट हो रहा है, इसके वजह से आई एम गेटिंग मेंटली डिस्टर्ब. मेरे जो सारे फिजियोलॉजिकल पैरामीटर्स है, जो सारे साइकोलॉजिकल पैरामीटर्स है, वो सारे अभी डिस्टर्ब हो रहे हैं बिकॉज ऑफ दिस चेंजेस दैट आर हैपनिंग. तो हम लोग ये चेंज को तो कुछ नहीं कर सकते. इट इज हैपनिंग. द थिंग इज दैट आइदर यू गो विथ इट और यू जस्ट वेट एंड अंडरस्टैंड एंड देन गो विथ इट. पर ऐसे करते समय वी मे हैव द व्हाट वी कैन से कि मैं पीछे रह जाऊंगी सबके. सो दिस फियर आई कैन हैव, आई मे हैव दिस फियर, बट understanding and then going into it is really very important. Now when we talk about stress जो आता है, तो mostly as I said, it is of we are trying to control the things which are not in my control. So first and foremost thing that I need to understand about myself and learning about myself, where our psychologist Albert Ellis comes to help us, and he is a cognitive psychologist. Or he has given one therapy called as rational emotive behavior therapy. That is really very important. And one more psychologist who talks about cognitive behavior therapy, Aaron Beck. So these are two psychologists which are very very helpful in today's life. हमें कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, पर हम लोग और अच्छा अगर लाइफ जीना चाहते हैं, तो दीज आर दी टू थेरेपीज दैट विल हेल्प अस. साइकोलॉजिकल थेरेपी या बिहेवियर थेरेपी हमको चेंजेस के बारे में बताते हैं, ये भी चेंजेस के बारे में ही बताते हैं, बट इट इज नॉट जस्ट मैकेनिकल. दे विल मेक अस टू अंडरस्टैंड. हम लोग उसमें से समझेंगे. सो विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड. नो नो, आई डोंट हैव एनी प्रेजेंटेशन. आई विल बी टॉकिंग टू यू. So Yeah. So these are the two therapies. I hope you all attending and you can write it down. And if you don't understand, do ask me. So we would be understanding these two basic therapies, which we can use for ourselves for anything. Like if you're having stress, if you're having frustration, if you're having anxiety, if you are feeling low, depression, all the negative aspect of your mental health can be handled, can be dealt with these two therapies called as cognitive behavior therapy and rational emotive behavior therapy. That is REBT and CBT. So these are the two therapies. Now, if I'm understanding that I am going through an issue and if I am able to work on it just by listening or reading, very good. If you have tried it, but still it is not working, I will suggest you to take the help of a psychologist. Don't feel shy or feel bad that I need a psychologist or I need a therapist for help. But stitch in time saves nine. So the early you reach out to a psychologist, it would be easier for you to recover the things, to make your life more productive, more enjoying, and more peaceful. And for this, these two therapies can be really very, very helpful. So first, we'll understand cognitive behavior therapy. It has been given by Aaron Beck. He was studying depression and then he formed this. He found that while we are while a person gets stress or depression, it is because of his or her thoughts. हम जो जिस तरीके से सोचते हैं, हमारी सोच एक है और हमारा तरीका भी है। तो जिस तरीके से और जो हम लोग सोचते हैं उसकी वजह से मेंटली हम लोग डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं। और सिर्फ उतना मेंटली डिस्टर्ब होते हैं क्या? नहीं, उसके साथ साथ वी हैव सर्टेन बायोलॉजिकल चेंजेस ऑल्सो। हमारे शरीर में भी हमें बहुत सारी तकलीफें जो है वो ये थॉट्स के वजह से है। Researchers have proven that the way you think accordingly your hormones work. Your neurotransmitter तो है ही है, बट हमारे जो हार्मोन्स हैं, हमारे जो हार्मोन्स है ना, those also are affected by the way we work, the way we think. हम जिस तरीके से सोचते हैं, तो हम लोग जो सोचते हैं, एरॉन बेक का कहना है कि वी हैव सर्टेन डिसफंक्शनल थॉट्स. ओके, देयर आर सर्टेन डिसफंक्शनल थॉट्स व्हिच वी ऑल आर, मतलब हम लोग कुछ गलत तरीके से ही सोचते हैं और गलत तरीके से और गलत सोचते हैं, इसीलिए हमको व्हाट वी कैन से तकलीफें है. सो बहुत ज्यादा हम लोग उस तरीके से अगर सोचते हैं तो वी कैन नॉट चेंज इट. जब तक हम लोग थॉट्स नहीं चेंज करेंगे तब तक देयर वोंट बी एनी चेंज इन आवर स्ट्रेस. मतलब जिस तरीके से हम लोग स्ट्रेस को कोप अप करते हैं वो चेंज नहीं होगा क्योंकि हमारा थॉट प्रोसेस चेंज. तो कोपिंग स्ट्रैटेजी अगर हम लोग नहीं चेंज करते हैं तो रिजल्ट्स भी चेंज अलग नहीं आएंगे. सो दिस बिकम्स अ चेंज. So if we really want to work on the things, we need to understand the thoughts. तो हम लोग कुछ ना हमारे डिसफंक्शनल थॉट्स हैं, बहुत सारे हैं. उसमें से हर एक डिसफंक्शनल थॉट हर एक इंसान में है, पर उसमें से कुछ हमारे पर्सनालिटी में डोमिनेंट होते हैं. सो I'll request you all to just write down the names of the thoughts and then maybe give a thought to it कि इसमें से मुझ में कौन सा डोमिनेंट है, and then we can understand how to change those. Okay, so the first dysfunctional thought is all or nothing, right? So in Marathi we say कि like खाईन तर तुपाशी नाहीतर उपाशी. That is all or nothing. ये जो थॉट है that is a dysfunctional thought. अभी क्या होता है इसमें कि हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा परफेक्शन के पीछे जाते हैं कि अगर मैं करूंगा, मैं काम करती हूँ तो मैं अच्छा ही करती हूँ, मुझे ऐसा वैसा काम पसंद नहीं है. ओके, पर इससे होता क्या है कि हम लोग फिर स्टार्ट ही नहीं करते हैं बिकॉज आई वॉन्ट द थिंग्स टू बी वेरी परफेक्ट and everything in a precise way, in a particular way. It becomes difficult और हम लोग काम ही नहीं कर पाते. तो हम लोग लोगों को भी ना ऑल और नथिंग में देखते हैं। तो हमारे खुद के बारे में तो होता ही है, लोगों को भी when we interact with people we say they are good or bad, but this comes in our culture also, है ना। हमारे यहाँ एक तो भगवान होता है या शैतान होता है, इंसान बहुत कम होते हैं। सो इंसान में दोनों चीजें होती है, अच्छाइयाँ भी होती है, बुराइयां भी होती है। सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर अस टू अंडरस्टैंड, इफ वी आर हैविंग दिस थॉट ऑल आर नथिंग, then it is creating a disturbance. It is creating a disturbance in your mental health. शायद उसकी वजह से आपको स्ट्रेस है, शायद उसकी वजह से आपकी एंजाइटी है, या फिर शायद उसकी वजह से आप बहुत अच्छे से परफॉर्म नहीं कर पा रहे हो। द फर्स्ट थिंग इज ऑल आर नथिंग, प्लीज डू राइट आउट। देन द सेकेंड इज ओवर जनरलाइजेशन। अभी ओवर जनरलाइजेशन में क्या होता है कि छोटी चीज को हम जनरलाइज्ड कर देते हैं। मतलब अगर एक दिन मेरा मूड खराब है और मैंने जोर से बात कर दी, तो जो दूसरा बंदा है वो बोलेगा तो ये हमेशा ऐसे ही है, ये हमेशा ही करती है ऐसा, ये हमेशा ही। हम लोग जब डायलॉग करते हैं ना, तो वी जनरली यूज दिस ओवर जनरलाइजेशन। तो हम हमेशा लेट आते हैं, क्या हमेशा होता है क्या, रियली हमेशा होता है क्या, या इट इज लाइक टुडे यू आर लेट। So when we are having a conversation with the help of this over generalization, it will always hinder the positivity, क्योंकि हम वो जनरली जो ओवर जनरलाइजेशन होता है ना, वो निगेटिव चीजों का होता है, पॉजिटिव चीजों का बहुत कम बार हम लोग ओवर जनरलाइज करते हैं। तो एक बार हो गया तो मेरे साथ ऐसा ही होता है, हमेशा मैं कुछ करने जाती हूँ वो काम होता नहीं है। तो दिस इज समथिंग वी आर हैविंग अ थॉट प्रोसेस ऑफ ओवर जनरलाइजेशन। तो क्या मैं ऐसा करती हूँ क्या? देन यू हैव मेंटल फिल्टर्स। मेंटल फिल्टर्स में क्या होता है कि सब अच्छा है, एक गलती है और हम लोग वही गलती पकड़ लेते हैं, है ना। एज ए टीचर वी आर बीइंग ट्रेन्ड टू डू दैट, कि बच्चे ने सब अच्छा लिख दिया है पर कुछ गलत हो गया तो उसको मार्क काटने हैं। बट आई हैव टू cut that thought process when I am not correcting the papers, when I am not correcting somebody। नॉर्मली भी हम लोग देखते हैं कि सब अच्छा है और एक गलती हो जाती है, 10 में से एक गलती है और हम लोग उसी पे बात करते हैं। तो अगर मैं मेरे बिहेवियर में, मेरे थॉट प्रोसेस में, डू आई हैव दिस मेंटल फिल्टर, है ना। देयर वाज वन रिसर्च कैरिड आउट की एक बहुत बड़ा बोर्ड रखा गया था, व्हाइट बोर्ड, और उसके बीच में ना एक ब्लैक डॉट दिया था और लोगों को बोला गया था कि आपको क्या दिखता है। एंड very rarely, only 2% of people said that they can see the white board, और मोस्ट लाइक बाकी के जो 98% लोग हैं उन्होंने कहा कि वी आर सीइंग द डॉट। सो दिस इज समथिंग अबाउट अ मेंटल फिल्टर। तो क्या मैं मेंटल फिल्टर बहुत ज्यादा यूज करती हूँ या करती हूँ क्या? अगर करती हूँ तो देन आई हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड कि हाउ मच आई एम यूजिंग। इफ आई एम यूजिंग वेरी हाई, आई हैव टू लाइक एटलीस्ट ब्रिंग टू द अवेयरनेस। को चेंज कैसे करना है हम लोग आगे देखते हैं, ठीक है। चौथा जो है दैट इज अगेन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, दैट इज माइंड रीडिंग। Now, this mind reading is really, really very tough and it is there in our culture. मला वाटलं, है ना, मला वाटलं तो शांत बसलाय त्याच्यामुळे त्याला राग आला, मुझे लगा, आई थिंक आई ट्रांसलेटेड दैट टू हिंदी दैट मुझे लगा कि आपको गुस्सा आया हुआ। कैसे क्या? मुझे लगा आपको अच्छा नहीं लगा। क्यों? नहीं, आप शांत बैठे थे। तो शांत बैठने का और अच्छा ना लगने का कोई कनेक्शन है नहीं। सो वी डू दिस माइंड रीडिंग एंड वी डू दिस माइंड रीडिंग टू द पीपल हु आर वेरी क्लोज टू अस, एंड मेनी अ टाइम्स आवर माइंड रीडिंग इज रॉन्ग। मला वाटलं, मुझे लगा के बेसिस पे तो इतना सारा हम लोग बिहेव कर देते, वेयर इट इज नॉट वर्थ इट। You need to just stop and ask, are you feeling bad? Rather than assuming that you are feeling bad and accordingly behaving, and then the person says, why you are behaving like this? I've not asked you for that. ना? So this is very very important, that mind reading हम लोग बहुत ज्यादा अगर करते हैं या फिर करते हैं। मैंने जैसे कहा कि ये सब डिसफंक्शनल थॉट्स जो है हम सब में है, but which is the dominant one and which is creating a problem? I have to just check that out. Okay, so that was the fourth one. Then the fifth one is catastrophising. Catastrophising is like ताकिद करना, लाइक आपका भविष्यवाणी करना है। भविष्यवाणी करते रहना कि ऐसा होगा ना, फिर इसके बाद ये ऐसा करेगा, फिर मैं ऐसा करूंगा। सो दिस इज द थॉट प्रोसेस विच इज लाइक कुछ ना कुछ होगा, और कुछ ना कुछ जो होगा भविष्यवाणी करना, और वो भी अगेन निगेटिव। मतलब मैं आगे नहीं जा रही हूँ क्योंकि आगे जाने के बाद है ना ऐसे हो सकता है, ये मैंने खरीदा है ना तो ये टूट सकता है। मतलब चीजें आप लेते ही नहीं हो, तब उसके पहले ही आप सोच लेते हो कि ये ऐसे होने वाला है। आपने ले तो लिया पर ये ज्यादा दिन टिकेगा नहीं, ये खराब हो जाएगा। दिस थॉट प्रोसेस इज कैटास्ट्रोफाइजिंग, है ना। तो मैं आगे की बात बोलती हूँ, भविष्यवाणी बोलती हूँ, पर उसको मैं निगेटिवली बोलती हूँ क्या। दिस इज अगेन अ थॉट प्रोसेस विच इज अ डिसफंक्शनल थॉट। Then the sixth one is personalization. Now, this is again very, very common with ladies. With women, it is very common. Whatever happens, they feel they are responsible for it. That is personalization. कुछ भी होता है तो वो मेरे वजह से हुआ है, मैंने अगर ठीक किया होता तो ये ऐसा नहीं होता। Society also blames a woman a lot for many things, so she also blames herself a lot. Or there are people, I'm not saying men don't do this, but generally you see more of this personalization in women. But men also do that. So personalization is like whatever happens is because of me. कुछ भी अगर खराब होता है तो मेरे वजह से है। अ, खुद को रिस्पॉन्सिबल करते हैं, छोटी चीज बड़ी चीज जो भी है, अच्छी चीज के लिए भी बुरी चीज के लिए भी। बट अगेन दिस इज अ डिसफंक्शनल थॉट। यू आर नॉट रिस्पॉन्सिबल, यू आर रिस्पॉन्सिबल ओनली फॉर योर ओन बिहेवियर। Others behavior you are not responsible, right? Because every person have a choice to behave as he or she wants. We do have a choices of behavior, पर हम लोगों को लगता है कि मैंने ऐसे बिहेव किया ना इसकी वजह से ऐसा हुआ है, बट एक्चुअली इट मे नॉट बी लाइक दैट। सो think if you are having personalization as your dysfunctional thought. Then the next one is emotional reasoning. इमोशनल रीजनिंग हम लोग है ना, जो रीजनिंग करते हैं ना वो इमोशंस के बेसिस पे करते हैं। हाँ, मतलब कि मुझे अच्छा नहीं लग रहा है क्योंकि अगेन आई गिव अ रीजन टू माय इमोशंस। Because of this, I am feeling like this. Because of this, I am feeling like that. So, we are not taking our emotions as they are. कि हाँ ऐसे emotions है. Those are there. We don't need to give reason for all the emotions. But we do that. And that becomes a dysfunctional thought. So, we have a saying in psychology that all emotions are welcome, but all behaviors are not. सो यू कैन हैव एनी सॉर्ट ऑफ इमोशन, है ना। इमोशंस तो एक सजेशंस होते हैं। इमोशंस आर नॉट लाइक 100% ट्रुथ नहीं होते, दोज आर सजेशंस। बट फॉर दैट सजेशन ऑल्सो यू आर गिविंग रीजनिंग कि मुझे ऐसा क्यों लग रहा है ना। दैट दोज आर व्हाट आर रीजनिंग दैट वी आर गिविंग। सो वी डू दैट। देन द नेक्स्ट वन इज द लास्ट वन इज लेबलिंग। लेबलिंग इज रियली अ डिसफंक्शनल थॉट। हम लोग एक बार लेबल लगा दिए ना तो फिर वी डोंट चेंज दैट लेवल। तो अगर मैं बोलती हूँ कि मेरा हस्बैंड जो है तो वो बहुत ही गुस्से वाला है, या फिर मैं बोलती हूँ कि मेरी वाइफ जो है वो बहुत ही ज्यादा स्लो है, तो वो इंसान अगर चेंज भी हो जाता है ना, तो हमने एक बार लेबल लगा दिए तो वी डोंट चेंज द लेबल। एंड देन द पर्सन फील कि आई एम ट्राइंग सो हार्ड बट यू आर नॉट चेंजिंग एनीथिंग। सेम वे वी लेबल अवर स्टूडेंट्स ऑल्सो, एंड देन वंस दे गेट द लेबल दे हैव टू बिहेव लाइक दैट। बच्चों के साथ भी एक बार हमने बोल दिया कि मेरा बच्चा है ना पढ़ाई नहीं करता है, बिल्कुल पढ़ाई नहीं करता है, तो वंस यू से दैट एंड यू फिक्स द लेबल, बच्चों को कभी अगर लगा भी गलती से कि पढ़ाई करूं, then he'll say no, I don't want to because my mother says that I don't study, so it's good, okay, fine. So these are certain what we can say dysfunctional thoughts. So if you have written all those dysfunctional thoughts, just check that which dysfunctional thought is dominant, or do you feel any of the dysfunctional thought which is not there in you. Just check that out. Okay, so once you understand ki, yeah, I am doing this These are the dysfunctional thoughts. Now, once you underline your dysfunctional thoughts, once you get aware of your dysfunctional thoughts, then the next step comes is changing the thought. Okay, you have to replace that thought with some other thoughts. See, when we say that don't think, can we do that? अगर मैं बोल रही हूँ सोचो मत, बहुत ज्यादा सोच रहे हो, सोचो मत, सोचना बंद कर दो, क्या हम कर सकते हैं? नहीं कर सकते. प्रैक्टिकली इट इज नॉट देयर, क्योंकि अगर हम लोग एक थॉट निकालेंगे ना तो दूसरा थॉट वहां पे रखना जरूरी है. देयर कैन नॉट बी वैक्यूम in our brain. There are people who have no thoughts, but then they are the people who practice it for a long time of their life, and then they reach there where when they want they can think, when they don't want they can. It is like switch on and switch off button that they have, but it takes a lot of time and effort to do that, and if you can do that, that is very good. But till that time being, वहां तक पहुंचने से पहले हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं? तो we can have an alternative for that. We can have कि ओके ये मेरा थॉट है और ये थॉट को मुझे रिप्लेस करना है. सो दिस इज समथिंग विच वी कैन डेफिनेटली डू. So first thing is you identify the thoughts. Then when you are thinking, you just catch them. क्या रे मैं ऐसा सोच रही हूँ. I am labeling it, or I am thinking all or nothing, or I am emotionally giving reasoning. So the process would be okay. You can label it. Now you just have to write down the thoughts that are coming. आपके जो डिसफंक्शनल थॉट्स है ना उसको आप लिखिए. नाउ विदाउट राइटिंग, विदाउट डूइंग एक्टिविटी, it is really really tough. You cannot have this work done without being this particular activity. So once you have this writing down activity, once you get aware, then you write it down, and then you can see how I can change it. Okay. If for example, your colleague, your spouse is not picking up your phone, okay, what do you feel? You feel sad, right? So you have to rate that emotion on 1 to 10. This is a worksheet that you can use. Okay. So first is you write the situation. What is the situation? That my husband, my colleague, whatever, who is not picking up the phone. If the person is not picking up the phone, how do you feel? Do you feel sad? Do you feel like, yes, I am feeling sad. But how much you need to have that percentage? Okay, that percentage may be 8 on 10 scale, right? Then what is the thought that is coming to my mind? मेरा मेरा स्पाउस मेरा फोन नहीं उठा रहा है, उसका इमोशनल लेवल पे कितना आएगा? 1 to 10 स्केल पे वो रखिए. लाइक 10 वुड बी द 100% यू आर सैड ना, आपको दुख हो रहा है, तो उसके लेवल पे आप कहाँ पे है? अभी ये सिचुएशन में क्या थॉट आ रहा है? क्यों नहीं उठा रहा है फोन? शायद वो मुझे टाल रहा है. ही डोंट वांट टू टॉक टू मी, राइट? उसको हम लोग क्या कर सकते हैं? मैं ऐसा क्यों सोच रही हूँ? क्योंकि वो फोन नहीं उठा रहा है. सो व्हाट कैन बी देन अल्टरनेटिव? क्यों नहीं उठा रहा है? व्हाट मे बी द रीजन? मे बी द पर्सन मे बी इन द मीटिंग, उसका फोन शायद साइलेंट पे होगा, मे बी ही इज बिजी, ही विल कॉल बैक. So if the person is not picking up the phone, you have to like change it or balance it कि वो मुझे टाल रहा है से he is not picking up the phone. See, the sentence is the the thought will reduce the stress. वो मुझे टाल रहा है is increasing your emotional negativity. But फोन, उसने सिर्फ फोन नहीं उठाया है. मैंने फोन किया है, उसने सिर्फ फोन नहीं उठाया है. सो दिस इज समथिंग रियलिस्टिक अप्रोच रादर देन माइंड रीडिंग, है ना, कि मुझे टाल ही रहा है, मुझे मालूम ही है, ऐसे ही होगा. सो दिस इज समथिंग we are uh, over, like the dysfunctional thought is coming. So we can just think कि dysfunctional thought क्या आ रहा है, कि अगर नहीं उठाता है तो क्या बहुत इमोशनल रीजनिंग में कर रही हूँ, मेरा ही फोन नहीं उठाता है, बाकी के तो उठाता है, अभी तो एंगेज आया था फोन. सो एम आई पर्सनलाइजिंग इट? एम आई माइंड रीडिंग कि उसके दिमाग में ऐसे ही चल रहा होगा, है ना? सो एम आई डूइंग इट और एम आई ओवर जनरलाइजिंग इट कि पिछले बार भी नहीं हुआ, अभी भी मुझे मालूम है ये हमेशा ऐसा करता है, हमेशा मेरा फोन नहीं उठाता। सो दिस इज समथिंग व्हाट वी आर डूइंग इज वी आर over generalizing, over using some or the other dysfunctional part. Okay, so ये हमको ना worksheet बना के then we will have to work on it. So this is something what CBT talks about. It talks about that yes, you can be very good, and this is the way you can deal with the all the stresses, all the emotional disturbance that we are going through in our life. तो ये हमको सीबीटी की वर्कशीट्स आर अवेलेबल ऑन नेट और पिंटरेस्ट पे आप जाइए एंड देन यू स्टार्ट वर्किंग ऑन इट. एंड वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग इन अनलेस एंड अंटिल यू वर्क यू वॉन्ट गेट द रिजल्ट्स. मतलब सिर्फ सोच बदलने के लिए सोच काफी नहीं है. You have to do some action, you have to do some behavioral level actions, then only we would be able to like work effectively, work properly. Otherwise we won't be able to do. So this is something about CBT I wanted to tell you all about. Again, the session is open for discussion. I'll be happy. Now I think this is where we can relate. So if I've made you to relate, you might have any doubts, question you can ask. Okay, no doubts, no questions. Fine. Okay, then we'll take a break of 15 minutes and then again come back. Okay.
Okay.
Hope you all are back.
Yes,
Yes. So,
Patil. Yes,
participants are there?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I have, are you able to see, I have shared one test with on the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I want you all to solve the test so that we can understand you can understand your own personalities, huh? So this is a big five factor test. I'll not explain much of it. You have to just read the sentences, and there are five options for it, like strongly agree, strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and strongly agree. So you'll have to choose any one of it and just write the ABCD, whatever like is for you, like whichever is correct for you, you have to write that. है ना? एक स्टेटमेंट दिया गया है, उसके पांच ऑप्शंस है, उसमें से कौन सा भी. सो राइट ऑन, हैव you have a pen and a paper, just write statement one. So like, I enjoy exploring new idea and concept. If yes, if it's 100% yes, then you will select E. If it is like 80% yes, it is D. 50% neither this neither that, that would be neutral, that is C. And then less is disagree and strongly disagree would be A. And the only suggestion is that use very rarely the neutral one, because it will not tell anything about you. So try to avoid the C option, which is there. So slowly we can go one by one up. And if I'm going fast, please let me know. Uh, So please do read the statement and answer it. Answer on your notebook, and then we will do the calculations and we'll know about more about personality. Maybe I'll share this. You can use this for your students also to understand them more. I hope everyone is writing. Yeah, I'm not speaking, so I'm not audible. You just have to answer this so that later we can have your scores. Yeah. Have you solved it? Anything missing? सबने टेस्ट सॉल्व कर ली? Please do respond. Okay, I'll scroll it again, no issues. So I'll go to the first and then slowly go one by one. If anything you have missed, you just please let me know. I can pause it and then we can do it. Yeah. So we start with the first. As I said, there are 5 options. You have to read and give one answer, right? A, B, C, D, anyone. Number 5. Okay. Yeah. I often worry about things that might go wrong. So if you disagree, if you don't think, you will be disagreeing. Huh? Okay, I'll just read the sentences. So uh, be easy, I think. Okay, I enjoy creative activities like writing, drawing, or playing music. I plan ahead and prefer not to leave things until the last minute. I find it easy to strike up conversations with strangers. I usually try to see things often from other people's perspective. I get stressed easily while under pressure. I'm curious about how things work, even if they don't relate to my job. I make sure to double check my work for errors. I enjoy being in the spotlight. I try to avoid upsetting people, even when I'm frustrated. I often feel tense or on edge. I enjoy thinking about philosophical and theoretical ideas. I like to follow a schedule and stick to it. I talk a lot when I'm around people I don't know well. I try to make people feel comfortable even if I don't know them. Uh, I get discouraged easily even by small setbacks. I enjoy learning about art, literature, or culture outside my daily work. I feel uncomfortable when things are messy or disorganized. I often seek out social events or gatherings. I am willing to go out of my way to help someone in need. I get nervous when I have to meet new people. I enjoy trying foods from different cultures. I stick to my commitments even when it's inconvenient. I feel energized after spending time in crowd. I forgive others quickly when they make mistake. I often ruminate on things I wish I have done differently. I am open to changing my opinions when presented with new evidence. I feel uncomfortable when I don't have a clear plan. I look forward to opportunities when I can speak in front of others. I avoid criticizing people even when I think they are wrong. I often feel uncertain about my abilities. I find inspiration in music, poetry, or art. I usually complete tasks before they are due. I enjoy being around people more than being alone. I feel guilty if I hurt someone's feeling, even unintentionally. I tend to feel emotionally overwhelmed in high pressure situations. I enjoy solving complex problems that don't have a clear answer. I feel uneasy when my routine is disturbed. I often take the lead in group conversation. I often go out of my way to make others feel valued. I frequently feel nervous in social situations. I find beauty in things other might overlook. I really need reminders to finish tasks. I quickly seek out new people to contact with. And I'm quick to support others when they are struggling. I often experience strong emotional reaction even to small things. Okay. I hope everyone have solved a test. Yeah. Now we will go to the analysis. Okay. So this you might have written A, B, C, D, E. So this is something you have to write the scores. So what I suggest you to that you have written now the 50 A, B, C, D is just give score to it, and then we will go to the specific personality. Uh, this is a big five factor personality test. In this test, we would be measuring five personality traits which are very commonly studied and worldwide used to maybe in the scrutiny of the employment and for other purposes. Okay, so please give the marks, please give the scoring for all the 50. Suppose you have written strongly disagree, give 1 mark. If you have given disagree, then 2 marks. Then for neutral, give 3 marks. And if you have written D, that is agree, give 4 marks. And then strongly agree, give 5 marks. Done? हो गया सबका स्कोर देके हो गया प्लीज लेट मी नो सो दैट वी कैन गो अहेड either you can unmute yourself and tell me or write in the chat box. हो गया सबका स्कोर्स देके हो गया shall we go ahead रुकना है जाना है प्लीज लेट मी नो Yeah, wait, okay. Yes, done. So everyone have done that? सबका हो गया? आगे चलते हैं. कोई रह गया है देना? स्कोरिंग किसी का रह गया है?
अटेंडेंस देने का
होना चाहिए.
डिफरेंस होता है तो एस्ट्रोनॉमी में इंटरेस्ट है
एस्ट्रोनॉमी थोड़ा बहुत इंटरेस्ट नहीं है पर नॉलेज
हमसे तो कोई पर्सन का हो सकता
रोल नंबर 25 तुमचा माइक चालू आहे.
है
Okay. So hope you have done the scoring. Now we will go to the scores. As I said, we have these 5 traits that we are studying. These are the 5 traits, that is openness, consciousness, um, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So what you have to do is, like the numbers are given, question numbers are given. Now we have already given the scores to it, है ना? आप लोगों ने ABCD को scores दे दिया है. अभी आपको क्या करना है? Openness लिखना है. एक स्टेटमेंट नंबर 1 को जितने मार्क्स है, प्लस स्टेटमेंट नंबर 6, प्लस स्टेटमेंट नंबर 11, 16, then 21, then 26, then 31, 36, 41 एंड 46. तो ऐसे 10 क्वेश्चंस को आपने जो मार्क्स दिए हैं उसकी टोटल आपको करनी है. Add up all the scores that you have given to this particular question numbers. So just add them and you will get the score for openness. ये 5 जो ट्रेड्स है वो सब में होते हैं, सिर्फ उनमें से कुछ ट्रेड्स आर डोमिनेंट इन यू. So, like, I'll explain you the traits also what they are. But once you get the score, you will understand कि it is low trait, high trait, moderate trait, what sort of level of trait is there in you. Okay. So I hope the openness total might have been done. Then we can go to the conciseness. So in this conciseness, 7 questions are there. You will see, you'll have to add the scores that you have given to these statements, these questions. That is 2, 7, 12, 17, 22, 27, 32, 37, 42, and 47. So whatever scores you have, add them up and write the number. Done? Yes. Now the next is extroversion. So extroversion score again, statement question number 3, 8, 13, 18, 23, 28, 33, 38, 43, and 48. So again, these are the 10 questions. Whatever score you have given to these questions, please add them. And then you have agreeableness. So statement number 4, 9, 14, 19, 24, 29, 34, 39, 44, and 49. So just add all the scores that you have given to this and write the total. And the last trait is neuroticism. And the remaining statements score you have to add up. That is 5, question number 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50. So add them all. Okay, now you have the scores, total scores. And now this is an interpretation. So if your scores belong to 10 to 20, so that particular trait is low. Then from 21 to 30, it is moderate. And 31 to 40, it is high. And 41 to 50, it is very, very high. So anyone would like to share the scores? कोई है जो स्कोर शेयर करना चाहेगा? ओके, पहले का सिर्फ स्कोर आप शेयर कीजिए, चलो पूरा नहीं तो नहीं. इज देयर एनीवन वुड लाइक टू शेयर? And now this is the interpretation. Sorry, I'm really sorry I have muted it. Uh, Okay, so I'll repeat again that uh, the 5 traits, as you see, the first 4 traits need to be higher on the score. So the first is openness. Openness is something where you are curious, you're open to the new things, new strategies, like the NEP is coming, that the syllabus is changing. So you're open to it. You're curious about it. You don't deny those things, right? So that is very good. Then conciseness is like you need the things in a structured way, in a proper way, in a legal way. ऐसे ही आप कर दो हो जाएगा, no, you don't feel. You want the things to be organized one, and that is again very good. Extroversion, see, being in the field of teaching, we need to be not highly extrovert, but yes, we can say we need to be extrovert, because we need to interact with students. So we need to be like extrovert, more or less, what we can say, right? So if the extroversion is less, that means you don't feel like going and talking to people. But if they come to you, it's okay. If the scores are in moderate, huh? If the scores are moderate and above moderate, it is like okay, you don't avoid people. आप खुद होके बात नहीं करोगे, पर आपसे कोई अगर बात करने आता है, सोशली मिक्स होने को कहता है, तो अच्छा है. पर अगर लो साइड है तो आपको तकलीफ होगी, बिकॉज in a profession of teaching you need to meet lot of people. आप लोगों से मिलते हो, लोगों से इंटरेक्ट करते हो, तो वो जरूरी हो जाता है. अदरवाइज बीइंग इंट्रोवर्ट इज नॉट बैड, हाँ, इट इज ऑल्सो गुड, बट एज पर प्रोफेशन, हमारा जो प्रोफेशन है वो कहता है कि हम लोगों को लोगों के साथ मिलना है, बात करना है, कोऑर्डिनेट करना है. सो यू नीड मॉडरेट टू हाई लेवल ऑफ extroversion. Then you have this agreeableness. Agreeableness is, see, we don't work in isolation. We work लोगों के साथ, ग्रुप बना के हमको काम करना है. देयर यू नीड दिस कोऑपरेटिवनेस एंड empathetic approach. Empathetic approach is very important for students also. हम जब बच्चों के साथ इंटरेक्ट करेंगे ना, तो empathetic is something, I understand what you are going through. आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड. हम अभी जो नई जनरेशन है, हमको लगता है इतनी छोटी बात पे क्या फ्रस्ट्रेट होना है, क्या डिप्रेस होना है. बट दे आर गोइंग थ्रू दिस, दे आर फेसिंग दिस. और क्यों जा रहे हैं ऐसे ज्यादा, कि हाँ ये जा रहे हैं, एंड आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड दिस. दैट इज व्हाट इज एम्पैथेटिक. सो ये जो चारों पहले के स्कोर्स है, दे नीड टू बी हाई. And as I said, extroversion from moderate to high would be okay. But if it is low, then it will, because you are in the field where you are interacting with people. Otherwise, there won't be any problem. But the last one, neuroticism, need to be high, need to be low. ये सबसे लो होना जरूरी है. As the lower scores क्या है हमारे, it has to be in 10 to 20. अगर उससे ज्यादा है तो it is like moderate. तो ये moderate level पे आ रहे हैं अगर आपके, तो that means we need to work on our emotional reactivity, एंग्शियसनेस पे हमको काम करना होगा. नहीं तो पहले के जो भी हाई और अच्छे स्कोर्स है, वो आपको मैनिपुलेट हो जाते हैं. सो बीइंग ओपन ऑल्सो, यू फील एंग्शियस अबाउट इट. आप ओपन हो, बट विद दैट यू आर एंग्शियस, है ना. आप लोगों के साथ कोऑपरेट भी करते हो, बट यू बिकम वेरी सेंसिटिव. आप सबके साथ बात करते हो, उनके साथ इम्पैथेटिक होते हो, पर उन्होंने अगर कुछ आपको बोल दिया तो आप हर्ट हो जाते हो, यू बिकम वेरी सेंसिटिव. सो जो अच्छी क्वालिटीज है, ट्रेट्स है, वो भी डिस्टर्ब हो जाते हैं इफ योर स्कोर ऑन न्यूरोटिसिज्म इज हाई. नाउ व्हाट टू डू फॉर दैट, अगेन यू कैन गो विद द सीबीटी. हम लोग सीबीटी यूज कर सकते हैं. हमारे जो थॉट्स है उसको आप कौन से इसमें आ रहा है वो देखिए, एंड देन ट्राई टू चेंज इट. once you change the process, if you start the process of changing, you will see the changes in your emotional sensitivity. So this was the big 5 factors, uh, which is used most of the time in the for analyzing people, for understanding people. I hope you have solved it and got to know about it. And if you feel कि ये जो answers या फिर जो scores आए हैं, I disagree with that. So you can talk. We can talk on that. If you disagree, हम आपका आया है neuroticism पर आपको लगता है कि नहीं है, then yes, we can talk on it. So this was a personality test. I thought all the teachers should go through this and understand themselves, क्योंकि जितना हम लोग खुद को जानेंगे उतना दूसरों को जानना आसान होता है, या फिर we become more empathetic. जितना हम खुद को जानेंगे, खुद में चेंजेस लाएंगे, तो हमको भी पता चलेगा कि चेंज लाना इतना आसान होता नहीं है. So when we ask students to do changes or ask our own kids to make changes, खुद में change करो, तो then we know the process. We know that ये क्या, maybe we fail many times. अगर हमारी सोच होती है हमको चेंज करना है पर हम फेल हो जाते हैं. So all this we will get the idea. So this was all I wanted to share with you all. So any questions, any topic that you would like to discuss, it is open. तुम्हाला काही प्रश्न असतील, you can ask in Hindi, English and Marathi. These are the three languages I understand. So that's all. Over to you all people. Are there any doubts, questions, or otherwise then I will end with one small story. I'll wait for 2 minutes if you have any questions. Okay. So there are no topics which you want us to discuss or any doubt, any question. I'll just end my session by one small story. This story I read in the Robin Sharma's book, and which I felt very close to me, and I feel that everyone should understand. The story says that when you travel by plane, so most of us have traveled by plane now. So when you sit in the plane, one beautiful air hostess comes and gives you instruction. So she tells you everything about like what to do, uh, how many doors are there, and we are there to help you out, and who is the captain, and what are the names of the crew members with her, or if the boy attendant is there, air hostess is there. So they tell you everything. They tell you one very important thing, that if the pressure, air pressure inside the aeroplane gets down, a mask automatically come from the upper cabin, and you just have to put that mask and breathe normally as you breathe. She tells this, and with that, one more instruction she gives, and which I feel is very important. She says that before helping others, please make sure that you have applied the mask on yourself properly and then help others. So I feel this is really very important. I need to help myself first. I need to really work on my neuroticism. I really need to work on my dysfunctional thoughts before I am helping others. Because if we are not well equipped with the breathing, helping others, you may save other person, but then you may suffer. So it's really very important to elevate your own personality, understand yourself, work on it, and then really help the students, the your kids who are around you to be a better human being and a better person. So thank you everyone listening to me so obediently. Thank you so much, and I thank the HRDC also for inviting me, and we have for inviting me for this lecture. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
So I can leave the meeting, right? Thank you.
Thank you.